골반이면 골반. 가슴 빼고.
So right here, he goes like this. We start with this one. Okay, now this can get free. We're just gonna usually take it. I'll go like this, and then I'll bring it back.
이 손은 그냥 약간 당기면서 뒤로 빼면은 자기는 이걸 제일 편하게 쓰는 거예요.
Then I'll come back and I'll grip the top of both knuckles.
그리고 두 손은 여기 이 낙고 부분 이거 잡는 게 제일 좋다고 말해요.
Okay, with C grips. Okay, we grip the top of both knuckles. Okay, now from here, what we have is top hand position. When I have top hand position, there's nothing in my way except for his chin of getting to his neck. Okay, he's gonna have his chin tucked. That's the only thing in my way, and that's not really that much. You can absolutely still get to the choke. So you have.
자기 손 두 개가 위에 있는 걸면서 이제 남은 거는 손 보고 이제 턱만 남았다는 거예요.
So once you're on top of the hands, you have a path to the neck. Now, in real life, what's going to happen is when you let go of this, you can expect that to happen, right? But as long as we're on top of his hands, we can start to get to the choke. Okay? So first thing we're going to practice is getting to this top hand position, and we call this same side grips.
그러니까 지금 연습할 거는 이 손을 이렇게 조정하는 건데 위에서 똑같은 이렇게 왼손이 왼손을 조정하고 오른손이 오른손 조정.
So we start like this. He's got his grips in place. He has his defensive grips, right? Okay. First thing we deal with is this one. If we try to deal with this one first, it's very, very difficult. And another thing, guys, I'll hold this. Another thing I'll do is I'll rotate my wrist. So look here. There's not much space under the palm of the hand. You guys see that? Very, very tight. I go like this. Look. I can get a grip. Okay?
공간을 만들기 위해서 이 손목을 이렇게 돌리면은 여기 공간이 있다. 아까 전에 손이 있던 공간이 생긴대요. 거기서 손을 넣으래요.
So now it's much more exposed. His palm, right? We can grip the palm. I can grip that, and I can peel it off like so. But we'll be doing it like this anyway. So we go here, we strip that. Now I go this way and then straight back. Okay, if I just try to go straight back, sometimes I find he can hold that. So I've got to go towards the center. So this will weaken his grip, and then I go straight back. And now, look, my hand is very high. I can come in and I'm on top of both of the hands. Don't go like this. It's easier, yeah, it's a lot, exactly. You see, if you go like this, you kind of expose yourself to this. Whereas if I go here, it's a lot easier for me to hold the wrists back. Okay, when he goes to grab it, I can hold it back. Okay, I go here, he grips. You can't really stop that, right? So, but if I'm here, you can. It's a lot easier to sort of pull the hands back. So he tries to get on top, he can't, right? He's gonna have to wait for me to go for the choke. Okay?
그러니까 아까 전에 여기 손 뺄 때도 이게 있을 때도 약간 당기면서 뒤로 빼는 게 훨씬 더 좋은 방법이라 그냥 당기면은 잘 안 빠지가 때가 있대요. 그래서 약간 이렇게 목으로 가면서 뒤로 당기면은 훨씬 더 빠지고 위에 손 조정할 때도 손 조정할 때도 아까 전에 이렇게 팔목 잡으면은 사람이 다시 나를 잡을 수 있으니까. 근데 여기 손을 잡고 있으면 이게 훨씬 더 힘들고 더 조정하기 더 쉽대요.
Okay, make sense, guys? Yes? Okay, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3.
같은 쪽, 왼손이 왼쪽, 오른손이 오른쪽을 설명이고 이건 아마 다른 걸 알고 있습니다.
So guys, a mistake I'm seeing some people make, guys, don't grab like here. Do you guys see where I'm gripping at the fingers? Don't do this. This is like very loose, okay? I want you to grab at the knuckles.
너무 안 타이트해서 여기 손 바닥 부분을 잡아달라고.
This is good. This is not very good. Okay, so make sure you grip at the knuckles. Okay, be precise about. Okay, pinch right here.
이걸 좀 정확하게 이렇게 핀치 꽉 잡는 걸 손 안쪽 부분.
Now, someone asked a good question. They said, okay, can I take my hand out and go on top to grab? No, we don't ever want to do that because now, look, guys, the advantage to having my arms over the shoulders is that you can choke. So you can even switch sides, right?
두 팔 누가 올려가도 되냐고 질문을 하셨는 것 같은데 그거의 유일한 장점은 이렇게 왔다 갔다 하면서 서미션을 걸 수 있는 장점 그거 하나밖에 없어서 아마 이건 추천하지 않는다는 말씀입니다.
But the disadvantage is I don't have control of his shoulder movement. He can move his shoulders very easy now. So we're gonna look at it later. There are times where I want both arms on the top. Like this can be really good, right? Sometimes like one of my favorite chokes is actually just like you don't even do this. Like sometimes I like choking like this. Like this is I think a really like solid choke, right? And you can switch this really easy. You can switch the side. But unless you have the like this should be like you're already like your arms should both be on the top if you're in a case where you've already got like one arm under the neck or one arm maybe like on the chin or something, right? Like you should be basically choking him already, right? But if you're like here and you're still hand fighting, this is not good, right? If he's good, there are so many ways he can get out of here.
이렇게 두 팔이 오버로 올라와서 실제로 턱을 하나 뭔가 걸쳐서 잡고 있는 상황이 아닌 외에는 두 손이 올라와서 어깨를 컨트롤할 수 있는 게 아무것도 없어요. 어깨를 컨트롤할 수 있는 게 있어야 되는데 두 개 다 올라와서는 목이 걸리지 않는 이상은 아무것도 없어서 이거는 그렇게 추천하지 않는다라고 합니다.
Now on the other side, guys, if we have both arms under, like you've got really good control of his shoulders, but you can't choke him. So yeah, that one's pretty simple.
더블언더는 어깨는 두 개 다 컨트롤하고 있지만 실제 초크할 손이 없어서 이것도
There's no way I can get to the neck, right? So anyway, when we grip the top, I still want to have this arm underneath. Okay, you can do that. It's pretty easy. You can go grip the top of the knuckles and still be underneath the armpit. Okay, there's no reason that you can't do both of those things.
오버 언더인 상황에만 여전히 어깨도 컨트롤하면서도 손을 잡을 수 있는 자세가 나와서 한 손 언더, 한 손 이렇게 위로.
So now, okay, let's start to use our legs as well. So let's just turn this way.
이제부터는 다리까지 써서 한번 보여드리겠습니다.
Okay, so now we're going to use our legs as well. Okay, so we gripped like this. Now I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to go up for the choke. If he doesn't do anything, we'll deal with this later on. What if he just doesn't hand fight here? Sometimes people won't hand fight. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, we use this kind of grip right here. Okay.
때로는 실제로 이렇게 손싸움을 안 하는 경우도 있는데 그건 좀 나중에 다뤄보기로 하고 지금은 아마 손싸움을 하는 경우에 대해서 다리까지 써서 손과 다리 같이 하겠습니다.
Most people though are going to do this. I'm going to let go. I'm going to go for the choke, and he's going to grab that, right?
자연스러운 상대의 반응이죠.
So that's what most people are going to do, right? So we go like this. He grabs. Now he's going to pull the grip down, and when he pulls the grip down, I'm going to switch the grip.
끌어내리면 손을 반대로 옮겨갈 겁니다.
Now I'm going to grab at the wrist, not at the knuckles. Okay, this is what we call a cross grip because I'm not grabbing the same side anymore. I'm grabbing across. Okay.
아까 전엔 같은 쪽을 잡았으면 이번엔 반대쪽 왼손이 오른손을 잡는 형태 크로스 그립을.
Now I take this right hand. I go free.
이번에는 너클을 잡지 않고 이번엔 손목을 잡고 오른손을 빼냅니다.
And I come in and I take a second cross grip.
그러면 두 번째 크로스 그립. 네, 왼손이 크로스 그립을 성공했고 다음 반대 손이 크로스 그립을 성공했고.
So this is one of the best things we can get. If we get two cross grips or double cross grips, this is very, very good.
두 개의 크로스 그립 또는 뭐 더블 크로스 그립이 이게 가장 좋은 형태라고 합니다.
So let's look at the whole thing again. We'll do it very slow. So we start off, he's got his grips. Okay, we gotta first get rid of this one, like so. Okay, I take my right wrist, I sort of bring it down, I turn it away, I expose the palm, I grip the palm, I pull, and my wrist comes down. Okay, now this is it's a same side grip, so I grip at the knuckles. Same side, we always grip at the knuckles.
네, 같은 쪽 손을 왼손이 왼손을 잡을 때는 너클.
Okay, now my right hand, I go back. And this is the same side, so I'm also going to grip at the knuckles, right? So I grip at the knuckles.
네, 여전히 같은 손을 잡을 때는 너클, 이 손 부분.
Now because I have top hand position, right? My hands are over his hands. There's nothing in my way except for his chin. of getting to the choke.
두 개 손등 위를 잡았을 땐 뭐 방해하는 게 없을 땐 바로 초크.
But obviously, this is what he's going to do, right? Of course, right? And now, what we're gonna anticipate is he pulls this grip down, and then we can grab across. So just hold right there. So if this is high, it's a little hard to get, right? But if it's high, I should be going for the choke, right? So he's going to pull it down, and the second we feel that we can get it, we do this. I come out, and I go to this. Okay, go ahead.
높으면 초크하기는 좋지만 상대가 끌어내리는 반응을 할 거고 내려오면 손을 교환해서 뽑아내고 이렇게 손목을 잡는 형태로 그리고 반대. 그래서 크로스 그립, 크로스 그립. 여기까지.
And then when you get the cross grips, guys, do this. Pull one high, pull one low. Don't be like, sometimes I see people get cross grips and they kind of just like hold it like this. This is not good. You want to separate his hands.
이렇게 바꿔 잡았을 때는 위에 있는 손이 당겨 올리고 밑에 건 밀어내리고 두 개가 가깝지 않게 이렇게 중앙에 두는데 중앙에 두지 않도록 이렇게 당기고 내리고.
So you pull, both of them should be like touching his body and pull this and push this.
하나는
Okay.
오른손은 당겨서 왼손은 밀어서 몸에 딱 붙을 수 있게 만들려고 합니다.
Now, another thing, guys, when we get, say we're here, we go for the choke, he grips, I go here. Sometimes this hand, I can't get the top of it.
가끔 이렇게 손 등을 잡기가 어려운 경우가 있다고 합니다.
Yeah, well, if it's out here, I'm just gonna go for the choke. So it won't be like that. It'll be more it's like he's like this. Like, okay, I can't grip the top. Well, you can actually do this. Give him the grip. You can just let him have that. You're gonna see. This is not the one we care about. We care about this one, the bottom one.
때로는 이 손의 각도 때문에 위를 덮어잡기가 어려울 경우가 있는데 그럴 때는 굳이 신경 쓰지 말고 상대한테 손목을 주라고 합니다. 실제로 내가 컨트롤하고 싶은 건 이 손이지 이 손을 그렇게 신경 쓸 필요는 없다고 합니다.
Yeah, you can even let him hold this momentarily. This is fine. Okay, we'll kind of examine more why in a little bit, but for now, just understand if he does get this, it's really not that big a deal. Okay?
그렇게 크게 중요한 그립이 아니라서 네, 얘는 크게 신경 안 써도 된다고 합니다.
So, do you guys want to see it again, or we're good?
Could you show that again?
Yeah. So, hold on a second.
한 번만 더 보여주세요.
Okay. All right. Whole thing again. All right. So we're here.
그래서 여기까지 처음 뜯어내는 것부터 네, 여기까지.
Okay. Let's give this a try. 1, 2, 3. So someone just asked a good question. Let's address that before moving on. They asked where exactly should my head be and how much does it matter? The ideal spot to have your head is what we call ear to ear position, where it literally is exactly what it sounds like. You want to take your ear and touch his ear.
머리 위치에 대해서 좋은 질문이라서 어디가 좋은 머리 위치인지에 대해서 얘기하고 있습니다. 귀가 귀로.
The reason for this is the ideal spot for me to have his head and his shoulders is like perfectly lined up, like square like this. Actually, it would be even better if he looked this way. That would be even better. That's gonna make the choke even easier.
가장 이상적인 위치는 이렇게 가운데가 맞고 특히 시선이 턱이 여기로 돌아오면 가장 이상적인 위치입니다.
So what we always want to have with our choke is we want to have what's called a long arm, right? So you want to have your arm as far around the neck as you can possibly get it. Okay? If he can rotate his head, he can look away from my choke. So look like all the way over here. Yeah, now look. So he's done two things. Even if let's say the chin is up and turn this way. One, he shortened my choke. Look, my arm is not as far around his neck. If he looks this way, look the other way. Look, it's farther around the neck, right? The other thing he can do, obviously, is he can tuck his chin. So he has shortened my arm in a sense, and he's just tucking his chin, so you can't really get under the chin, right? So, yeah.
더 나은 머리 위치를 설명하는 중에 머리가 가운데 있으면 긴 팔로 이렇게 걸면 좋겠지만 상대는 턱의 위치를 옮겨서 내 팔을 짧게 만들 수 있다라고 설명하고 있습니다.
So what we want to do is not let him rotate his head, right? Because look, he could rotate his head in two ways. He could rotate his head this way, which is going to help me. He's not going to do that, right? That makes no sense. So if he can rotate his head, he's going to rotate it in a way that doesn't help me. Okay, so this is how he's going to rotate his head. So we just don't want him to do that. We don't want him to be able to rotate his head at all, right? So the best way we can stop him from rotating his head is with our head. So I put my head near his head, and you can even look, so I can even look this way. So now when he goes to rotate his head, it should be very difficult. It's like his head is running into mine. Okay?
그래서 이상적인 위치가 머리가 위에 있어서 팔을 길게 뽑아 초크를 걸면 좋겠지만 머리를 돌리는 게 문제가 되고 그걸 방해하는 방법은 우리가 오른쪽에는 팔, 왼쪽에는 귀가 귀에 붙어있는 머리가 특히 시선을 이렇게 밑으로 바라보는 듯이 꽂으면 오른쪽과 왼쪽을 다 막을 수 있다고.
If I'm like here or here, I can still choke him, but he can rotate his head. Now it's going to be a lot harder. Whereas if I were to go here, right? Now when he goes to do that, he can't rotate, right?
그래서 머리가 턱이 완전 꽂혀 넘어갈 정도가 돼야 실제로 고기가 돌아오는 걸 막을 수 있고 좀 뒤로 빠지면 이게 턱이 닿는 걸 막기가 어렵다고.
So my favorite way to think of this is just try to like touch your ear to his ear, and then if you can look this way. Okay, that's my favorite way to think about it.
가장 선호하는 건 여기에 턱을 놓고 시선은 여기를 이렇게 쳐다보듯이.
Okay, so now let's move on to what we're doing with the hand fighting and the legs. Okay,
손싸움으로 다시 넘어가겠습니다.
so we're gonna go back here. We got to cross grips. I like to have cross grips. So we got to cross grips. Now, the main thing is this space right here. Okay? With this space, what I can do is I can now take this leg and start to trap his arm.
그래서 가장 중요한 포인트는 이 두 개 사이의 거리를 넓히는 것 그리고 거기에 발을 꽂아넣는 것.
I can start to trap his arm.
팔을
Okay.
트랩할 수 있습니다.
Now, let's look at the best case way to do this. Okay? This is not always going to work, but if you can get this is the best way to do it.
항상 되는 건 아니지만 가장 효과적인 제일 좋은 위치로.
So we can trap this arm with our heel or with our foot. Okay, we want to trap it with the whole foot if we can.
가능하다면 이렇게 발을 훅을 넣어서라도 또는 아니면 뒤꿈치를 그냥 덮어서라도 이걸 다리로 잡는다고 합니다.
So we start with the heel, but keep holding the wrist, and then lift the wrist and put your foot underneath, like so.
손으로 이렇게 잡아 당겨서 먹여주듯이 이렇게 손으로 끝까지 잡는 걸 유지하고 이렇게 넣어주세요.
Now, when you get this, you have to keep the toes pulling towards the knee, because if I'm lazy with my foot, he's just gonna get the hand out. Okay?
다리에 힘이 게으르게 있으면 이 손이 계속 빠져나가고 너무 와서도 발끝에 힘을 줘서 이렇게 당겨내는 힘을 줘야 무릎 쪽으로 당기는 듯한 힘을 줘야 손이 잘 안 빠져나가진다.
Now, once you've got this trapped, take this foot. Make sure this foot is on the top. So my left foot is on the top here.
이 자세가 됐을 때는 밑에 있지 말고 위에서 골반을 다리 위를 막아주도록.
If you're lazy with this, he could easily just he's gonna get out pretty easy. So let's go back.
여기 너무 게으르게 있으면 이 뛰어넘겠죠.
Now take this foot, put it behind his back, and walk your foot as low as you can get it. Okay, low on his back.
그래서 다리를 뒤로 이렇게 꼬아넘기고 오른손은 가장 밑으로. 오른손은 밑으로.
So again, the whole thing. So we have the double cross. Okay, so I go one. I hold the wrist. I don't let go. I lift his wrist and I catch. Okay, now I make sure this foot is on top and I go behind his back. Okay?
오른발 훅 걸어서 뒤로 넘기고 그다음 오른발이 넘어오고 왼발이 넘어오고 다시 오른발은 등 뒤에 꽉 끼워 놓고.
Now I go 2-on-1 here.
2대1 상황이 되고.
Okay, and next we're going to start looking for chokes, but let's practice this first. Okay?
이거부터 먼저 연습해 보겠다고 합니다.
Okay, so one more time. Let's do the whole thing from the beginning. So maybe we have a body triangle, whatever. We start he's got the defensive grips. One, I strip the first grip. I strip the second grip. I get two top same side grips. Now I threaten the first choke. He blocks it. I keep going for the choke. He pulls it down. Okay, I get, it's still top side, but now it's a cross grip, right? So I get a cross grip. And also, guys, my head should be here. I'm just doing this because I'm being lazy. Okay, so
머리 좀 딱 끼워 넣어서 타이트하게.
keep your head, keep your head here. Okay, now either I get this or he can have it, because look, guys, he can hold this wrist and look, I can still do that. I don't. It literally doesn't matter.
손은 내가 잡았던 상대가 위를 잡았던 큰 상관은 없다고 합니다.
It doesn't make any difference. Okay.
큰 차이가 없으니 왼손은 오른손은 덮어잡던 아니면 잡히던 상관없습니다.
Because then once you, what you can do is you can just do that, right? It's two hands versus one. You can break this grip pretty easy.
나중에 투원원에서 처리하면 되니까 신경 안 쓴다고.
And then we end, guys. We end like this. We end. We have a 2-on-1. So like you could also be like here, I guess, but I think this is stronger. You're just tight.
크로스가 조금 더 타이트하고 뭐 두 개 다 상관없습니다.
Okay, makes sense, guys. All right, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna go over something a lot of people were asking about, which is like, it is very, very important. So, okay,
사람들이 많이 물어보는 것 중에 하나를 좀
when we trap this arm with our foot, right? There are two ways we can keep the arm trapped. I can put it behind his back, or I can cross my legs. Okay?
이렇게 다리가 완전히 안 넘어갔을 때 저걸 어떻게 트랩하는지는 그냥 이렇게 완전히 넘어오거나 아니면 여기서 트라이앵글을
We're gonna look at a triangle later, but for now it's not so much a triangle, it's just our feet are crossing. Yeah, not so much, we're gonna look at the triangle later though, but for now it's just feet crossing, okay? So
발로 이렇게 교차된 모양.
let's try this way. So we can tuck this behind the back, or we can cross our feet over the hip, okay? So let's turn that this way. Okay, so guys, if we are able to get this foot, look at, if we can get the foot at the top of the thigh, look at this, and I can get this here, I want you to go behind the back. But only if you can get these two things.
이렇게 완전히 이 허벅지 위를 덮었을 때만 오른발이 저 등 뒤로 넘어간다고.
Okay, the reason is this. Guys, if this is here, or even if it's kind of loose like this, he can turn. Yes. And there are ways he can get out, okay? Yeah, now this is still a good position. You can still do things from here, right? But it's not as good as it was, okay?
이렇게 뭐 오른발이 타이트하지 않은 상황에서 뭐 아예 가운데 있거나 약한 상황에서는 오른발을 저렇게 뒤로 넘겨버리면 방금처럼 빠져나가거나 그게 그렇게 나쁜 포지션은 아니지만 조금 전만큼 그렇게 유리한 자세는 아니라서.
So the advantage of putting the foot behind the back is this. If you can get, guys, if we can get the foot behind the back, this arm, it can't do anything to defend. It's very far from his neck. Okay?
이렇게 뒤로 집어넣는 거의 장점은 아무것도 할 수 없는 거. 이거의 이유는 상대를 아무것도 못하게 하는 거.
If I go here, look, the hand, he can still, like, if he's got long arms, he could still, like, come up, stop the choke. Yeah, he can still sometimes, like, get in the way. Okay? Especially if he has very long arms. Okay?
앞에서 꼬아버리면 아까 전처럼 이 손이 아예 움직이지 못하는 상황까지는 안 된다고 얘기합니다.
Okay, if he's got long arms. But here, I don't care how long his arms are. He's not going to get up to here.
뒤로 넣어버리면 팔이 얼마나 길든 그렇게 신경 쓸 게 없어진다고.
Unless he's like, maybe if he's a giant, then maybe he could, but it's unlikely, right? So what this does is it takes the arm away. It just makes it a non-issue. He can't really use it defensively. But if I can't secure the hip, it's not really like stable, right? So
이걸 완전히 뒤로 보내는 게 최적의 상황이라 뒤로 보내고 싶지만 이 발이 타이트하게 얘를 잡고 있지 않은 상황에서 무리해서 이걸 뒤로 보내는 건 탈출하기 유리하게 하는 거라서 우선적으로 이 발이 타이트하게 잡지 않으면 얘를 뒤로 보내는 건 좋지 않다고 설명하고 있습니다.
And guys, the other thing he can do to make this difficult to get behind the back is he can keep his wrist close to his body. So if I'm here, if I try to lift the wrist up, he doesn't let me do it. I can't get it. Now what you can try to do is pull your heel back. Sometimes that works, but in my experience, it can be pretty hard, right? So the best way to do this is to hold the wrist and lift it up.
손목이 여기 붙어 있으면 들어 올리기 어렵고 그래서 이걸 들어 올려서 발 사이에 넣어서 뒤로 당기기 쉽게 만든다고 합니다.
So he doesn't let me get that. What you can try to do is just pull your heel back, but I don't find that works that often, honestly. Like he can resist it pretty strong.
뒤꿈치로 당길 수도 있지만 뭐 그렇게 뭐 잘 먹히는 건 아니라서 조금 전처럼 이렇게 들어 올려서 발을 거는 형식이.
So if we can't get this, and maybe we feel like our left foot can't hold the thigh, I'm gonna push down and cross my legs.
네, 그래서 조금 전처럼 완전 들어 올려서 오른발이 타이트하지 않는 경우에는 지금처럼 이 오른발을 끼워 넣고 그 위에 덮어 거는 형식으로 이걸
Okay.
대체한다고 합니다.
This is pretty good too. This is pretty good too. Okay, now, regardless of which one we are using, now let's start talking about how to get to the choke. Yeah, so let's move over here. This is me. I'll move it this way. All right, so we've got the cross grips. We've trapped the wrist, right? Whether it's like this or whether it's behind the back. Now let's think about getting to the choke, okay?
네,
So,
이렇게 뒤로 해서 걸어 잡았건 그게 오른발이 느슨해서 그냥 덮어 잡았건 이제부터는 여기에 대해서 얘기하겠습니다.
so put your ear on his ear. His chin is going to be tucked. Okay, I'm going to go like this. Now I put my left hand on his left hand. Now this hand is free to go for the choke. Okay, the first thing we're going to do to get the choke is I take my forearm. I grip the far shoulder. And now he can't rotate his head because my ear is next to his ear. Now I'm going to pull my wrist. You okay? I'm going to pull my wrist. Let me just do this, otherwise it's going to be... Tell him to just let me do it or it's going to be like rough on his chin.
살짝 열어달라고.
Yeah, in real life, guys, this is hard on his chin and jaw, but I don't want to do it hard on him right now, so just tell him, yeah.
너무
So,
세게 하고 싶진 않아서.
yeah, so guys, I go here, look, I push in, and then up. Okay, so we go down, push in, and then up, and then I go under. Are you okay? Okay.
그래서 오른손으로 귀는 딱 붙여서 머리가 회전하는 걸 막고 오른손은 반대편 어깨까지 깊게 들어가서 일단 턱 들어 올리고 슛 이렇게.
Now, once you've got under the chin, we cover our wrist with our head. Now I come up, I let go of this wrist, but because my chin's over the wrist when he goes to grab it,
잡아주시고요.
he can't. So now, look, I line this up, I fall down, and I slide the choke in. And then you get the finish. Okay? So let's look at that again. So we're here. I get the cross grips, I trap. Now, I get my ear next to his ear, he can't rotate his head. I grip the far shoulder, or far shoulder and tricep area. Right now, I drive in. I'm doing this. And then I'm gonna go up. I go in and then up. So we're here, in and then up. And then I just go underneath. Now I go across, I grip above the shoulder. I cover that with my chin. Now look, I let go. If you have to, you can push this away. And then we slide the choke in. If, when I go to slide the choke in, there's not enough space, I'll just switch sides.
저는 방금처럼 네, 다리는 당연히 아까 전까지 했던 거랑 똑같이 그리고 오른손은 턱을 끼워 넣고 쳐다보고 턱 들어 올리고 툭 끼워놓고 이제부터는 턱이 손등을 타이트하게 덮고 이제 얘를 내보내주고 편하게 보내주고 공간이 있으면 손이 뒤로 들어가고 없으면 이걸 턱 끼워놓고 손목을 밀고 전환 이렇게 해서 연습하는 걸로.
You okay? Okay, sorry. Okay, all right, let's give this a try. 1, 2, 3. The big weakness of being on the bottom side is this. So when I get this arm, like let's say I'm here, I've got this arm under the neck. There's not a ton of space for this arm, right? So sometimes you'll come up and it doesn't like you don't quite get the choke right. Like what I would like is this, guys. I want like a traditional rear naked choke. I get this arm very deep and look, I get like my hand on top of my bicep and then my hand is very like securely behind the head. Like this is the ideal choke. But sometimes you'll get situations where you guys see like my fingers of my right hand. I'm sure that you guys had this happen to you. Ever get like here, like you can't get it any deeper and you're like, you can't get this hand perfect and it's like, you feel like you're like, man, I'm about to choke this guy, but it's just not sunk in properly and then he starts hand fighting and he pulls your hands down, right?
네, 그래서 다시 한번 초크를 어떻게 피니시 하는지에 대해서 조금 더 얘기를 할 건데 오른쪽으로 눕는 거에
Oh yeah, yeah. So, bottom.
왼쪽으로 눕는 거에 단점은 보면 여기서 저기 공간이 좀 부족해서 뭔가 끝낼 수 있을 것 같은데 팔 안쪽으로 이상적으로 타이트하게 다 들어가지지 않고 뭔가 이쪽만 살짝 걸쳐서 끝날 수 있을 것 같은데 하는 상황에서 손이 이걸 풀어내는 열리는 상황이 나온다는 게 좀 단점이다라고 저는 얘기했습니다.
So this can be a very frustrating thing to happen to you, right? Where you've got the one arm under the neck. The choke is so close, but then you just can't get this arm, right? You can't get this arm set up right. So, let's hop over here. Hop over here.
그래서 오른손은 다 집어넣는데 뭔가 왼손이 조금 부족한 느낌? 여기서의 어떻게 피니시하는지를 좀 설명할 것 같습니다.
So let's look at something we can do to deal with this problem. So I get this grip under the chin, and I'm still gonna come up onto this elbow, but instead of going behind the head, I'm gonna go in front, and I'm gonna grab my tricep.
그래서 머리 뒤로 들어가는 대신에 공간이 부족하면 우선 삼두를 저렇게 잡는 턱 밑으로 들어가는 그립.
Now here, I'm gonna finish this, just like a rear naked choke. I'm gonna pull both in.
일반적인 리어 네이키드 초크처럼 저기서 그대로 힘을 줘서 우선 끝내는 것부터.
So he can defend by gripping this hand.
이걸 잡아서 이렇게 저항을 하면
I can always just go back and come back in.
뒤로 갔다가 다시.
If I can't get the choke like this, what I'm gonna do, like if he keeps grabbing this hand, what I'm gonna do is this. I switch my head to the other side, I lift up, and I throw this choke in. Now this arm is free. Look at all this space I have. Now it's gonna be very easy to sink in a really like proper rear naked choke, right? So we started on this side because it stopped his shoulder from rotating. And then we finished the choke on this side because there's more space, right? Does that make sense? So we're using each side for what it's good for, right?
네, 그래서 지금은 그 머리가 밑에 있는 것과 위에 올라간 거의 장점을 다 살리는 방식으로 할 건데 첫 번째는 머리가 밑에 있는 그러니까 이 어깨를 컨트롤해서 유리하게 상대가 빠지는 걸 고정할 수 있는 머리가 밑에 있는 위치에서
So again, guys, we start by I come up on this elbow. So I come up on my elbow and I'm covering the wrist with my chin, right? Now if I can, I'm just gonna do the choke right here. If I can sink this hand, so if I can get my right hand, if I can get my right hand like all the way across my bicep and this hand behind his head, that's what I'll do. But if I find that I can't, if I'm like struggling to get this, we can go here instead. I go in front, I grip basically the tricep and the elbow, and I'll try to finish this right here. Okay, we pull in, we go for that finish. If he defends it, he grips this, pulls this down. Okay, I just take it back. I'm still protecting this, he can't get this. I'll go back in, and now this time we switch our head to the other side, and now look, I'm just gonna lift up, and I replace. So it's like the arm that's under the neck is gonna come up, and look, this goes under the elbow. And you can even go here first, and then here if you like. So like maybe the absolute safest way to do this, where you really make sure you hold on to the choke. Okay, we start like this. No, just say it. We start like this. I go here, I lift up, I go here, and we start with this choke. I get this very deep, and we go here. Okay?
그래서 이 어깨를 컨트롤할 수 있는 머리가 밑에 있는 자세부터 시작해서 대신에 이거의 단점은 손이 집어넣을 공간이 없는 거를 극복하기 위해서 업어 잡고, 그래서 머리를 먼저 여기서 먼저 끝낼 수 있으면 끝냅니다. 끝내고 계속해서 같은 게 반복되면 뺐다 또 다시 한번 시도. 근데 이게 계속해서 반복되면 머리를 반대로 넘기고, 이제는 손을 바꿔서 공간이 열려서 손을 집어넣기 좋은 위치로, 네, 이제 머리가 위, 공간이 넣기 쉬운, 여기서 피니시하는 걸로 이렇게 연습을 해보겠습니다.
Okay, makes sense, guys? Yes? Do you guys want to see it again, or?
Could you show them?
Yeah, okay. Let's show with the hooks in.
한번 보여드리겠습니다.
Okay, so we're here. We get under the chin.
이렇게 하겠습니다.
Okay, let's give this a try. 1, 2, 3. Now let's look at an option. What if we just can't get to the rear naked choke? What else can we do? Let's look at what I think is the second best submission from the back.
그래서 리어네이드 초크를 못 받았을 때는 어떤 서미션으로 할지.
And then, let's actually look at 2 submissions from the back. Let's look at what I think is the second best submission from the back, and then let's look at what is the funniest submission to do from the back, especially on white and blue belts.
흰띠 파란띠에서 할 수 있는 좀 웃긴 리어네이드 초크 말고 다른 서미션.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the move that is like a really effective submission from the back. So we've trapped his arm, but for whatever reason, man, let's say this guy's really good defensively, we just cannot get under the neck. No matter what we try, and maybe we don't feel like we can get a choke over the chin as well, okay?
도저히 열 수 있는 방법이 초크할 방법이 없을 때.
So then what we're gonna do is this, okay? Keep your feet locked like this. Don't put the foot behind the back, okay? Just keep like this.
이렇게 꼬아 들어갑니다. 뒤로 넘기지 말고.
Now, we're gonna take this grip. I hold with one hand. I put this hand to the other side of his head, and then we grip again. Okay, now we can grip like this, or like this. Okay, they're both good. Okay, now I'm gonna take my left foot. I really securely connect it to the top of his thigh, and then I'm gonna push and throw my right leg over the shoulder. Okay? Now I'm gonna keep turning. I take this foot, I go to his hip area, and I bring my hips out. Then I lock up like so. When I lock up, don't go out here. You can grab that foot and get problems here. Just go up and down. And then we lock up the triangle. Now you have a back triangle. You can finish the choke, or you can finish the arm bar. So the arm bar, you just go here. If they're really, really flexible, I had a match where someone was really flexible. You didn't have that. On the left elbow. You go here. You can grip the elbow and go down. It's very, very strong. Okay, you will break his arm pretty easy. Okay? So, you okay? Okay.
발은 넘기지 말고 뒤에 위치시키고 하면 서미션 할 수 있다.
So we go. Let's just chuck this way, actually. Yeah. And hop over here toward the back.
한 번만 쑥
Hop over here. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so now we go. We've got this trapped, but man, I can't get to the choke. We get this arm tricep against his head, not your forearm. Don't go here. Go here. Okay?
삼두로 밀어주세요. 팔꿈치 말고.
Now we get our grips. You can either go here or here. This is stronger for pulling, but it's kind of, there's a little bit more space between my hands so he can break the grip. This is easier to hold on to, but you can't pull as strong. So you just have to decide what better fits the situation, right? If he's keeping this super tight here, you can't pull towards you. You might have to do this. But if he's kind of like moving the hand around like crazy, right? Okay, maybe this is better because it's easier to hold on to.
막 팔락팔락 움직이면 지금처럼 그립을 잡는 게 낫고 내리는 힘이 너무 셀 때는 지금처럼 끌어올리는 힘이 좋은 이 그립으로.
Usually, honestly, I use this one. This is the one I use the most, to be honest. But
이걸 더 많이 쓴다고 합니다.
yeah, but they're both good, okay? Now, get this foot. Don't do this. This is not enough. You've got to get it really, like, hooked around his thigh, okay? Now, I'm going to extend my leg, and I throw this leg over the shoulder as I'm turning to my other hip, okay? So I'm turning to my other hip. Now, from here, guys, you've got to get your hips back. Okay, so to do that, I take this foot. You plant like anywhere on the left side of his body. It could be his hip, it could be his ribs. Hips come out. Okay, now we go up and down. Don't do that. That's very bad. Up and down.
네, 발은 넘기지 말고.
Okay, now arm bar or the choke. Okay. So let me show on you. You're small too, so he can see. Okay, so we're right here. And just go a little bit over here. Here. Okay. So again, guys,
그래서 시작은
we're here.
뒤에서
Get this foot on the top.
왼발이 훅이 타이트하고 힘있게 펼 수 있어요.
Hold this here. Get over here.
삼두로 밀어주고
Go like this. Now we extend and pull. Throw this over the shoulder.
하이킬락 걸듯이 당기고 이제 눕고 밟고 뒤로 힙 스케이프에서 잠그고 이제 서미션 초크나
And now you grip this and you got. This is a really, really good arm bar. Okay, you okay? Okay. You guys want to see it again, or we're good?
한 번 더 보시고 싶으시죠?
Want to see it one more time? Yes? Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, so one more time. This is called a back triangle, okay? So,
백 트라이앵글이라고 부른다고.
we go here. We've got his hand trapped, but we can't. Always try for the choke first, guys. Always try for the choke, the rear naked choke,
먼저 시도.
okay? But if I can't get that, okay, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna do the back triangle.
안
We're
될
here.
때는 백 트라이앵글.
Throw this over the shoulder. Like so. Okay? Alright, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3.